Hi, welcome back to Empirical Evidence. It's Annie again. I want to recap the last story for those of you that missed it in the many details. The story was about shapeshifters, so that you can understand why you must use the law of attraction in alignment with self-knowledge if you really want to find a stable love. We attract many forces, some good, some bad, some indifferent. All forces have their own principalities and powers. They all vibrate on a different level, and it's not always easy to see the intention of the forces, especially shapeshifters. And shapeshifters don't bring stability. They can bring love. But what kind of love do you want? Do you want an unstable love? Because unstable energies bring unstable love. And energies are not about what you see on the outside. It's about the family of origin, and it's about the energy on the inside. How committed is this person, and how integrated are they mentally and emotionally? You can't fix shapeshifters. Counseling can't fix shapeshifters. Shapeshifters have their own issues from their family of origin, and shapeshifters have their own spiritual issues. Spiritual issues can only be fixed by higher cosmic powers. So for those of you that have shapeshifters in your family or your love life, the best thing you can do is just learn about them, learn about yourself, and decide how much distance is needed between you and them in order for you to grow, because a shapeshifter doesn't grow. Even when they achieve external growth in the social world, they'll do it at the cost of your sanity, your soul's integration, your family, and sometimes your very life. They suck energy. Shapeshifters don't give energy. Let me provide the story one more time. Shapeshifters are people who have unstable minds and souls, but they have the gift of awareness of other people's energies. Because they also seek stability, they can assume any language or shape that they have knowledge of in order for you to gain trust. In order for you to trust them, they will learn your language, they will learn your culture, they will learn your family's problems, only so that they can suddenly be your best friend, so that they can be a part of your network, because you have something they need. It's not just something where you can exchange energies. It's something that you have that they envy and they want. And they want to be affiliated with this level of status or power. So they lure you into trust in them. They can use many avenues. They can lend you money for a short while. They can pretend to fix your family problems. They can assume the form of a father figure or a daughter figure or a sister figure, or a leader, or a teacher, wherever your heart's deepest desire is. If you open too far and too fast to them before you know the energy of the person, they can draw you into their story. They can even draw you into a story of woe is me, victimhood. So that you, if you have the rescuer personality, you'll fall victim for the story, and before you know it, you'll be drained of resources, time, family, home, and they'll disrupt every relationship you try to bring into your life because they need your power. They are disconnected from any God force, and in order to survive, they do need power. We all need power to survive. Some of us get ours from our higher power, and some people fake spirituality so that they can tap into your energy fields. How do you fake spirituality? I don't think I really need to go into that, because I think right now we can look at the world and we see many false people that actually say they believe one faith system and they don't do anything to empower its people. And if the spirituality is about empowerment, shouldn't it be empowering its people? That is an example of not living up to one's code of honor. It's not about the rules. It's always about first the intent. And then the rules are used to demonstrate intent. That's the point. Intent first, the energy, and then the rules structure the intent so that you can see the intent. So, shapeshifters also seek stability. Lucifer was disconnected from God. When you disconnect from a source of power, you do need something else to give you your power. So Lucifer began to torment humanity. Shapeshifters likewise find families to plug into and torment. They can assume language and behaviors that you need in order to trust them. In trusting them, you may invite them into your life. You may tell them your family's secrets and find that they are not safe people. They do not create a lifestyle of safe space for you. They covet what is not theirs. They refuse to work for what they want. And they blame everybody else for their problems. Shapeshifters do not love. It is not about their mental capacity, because that is not what it is. Shapeshifters' souls are disoriented. They're disoriented and they're also fragmented. Shapeshifters have a mission. Every shapeshifter has a different mission. The mission is based on what they need and also what they perceive you can give them. It's twofold. And because they operate by change in both, you are going to have a hard time figuring out what their mission is. So the best bet is to not try to figure out their mission first, but to figure out the energy. Once you figure out the energy, then figure out the principalities that they operate under. Energy, the energy field, then the principles. Then you can figure out their mission, their heart's intent. Until you discover their goal, they'll change to become whatever you need. There'll be any type of friend you need. They will lie if they need to. They will cheat. They will introduce you to people that you think will help you. But what they'll really just do is take from you. And if they have no one to introduce you to, if they need to, they'll sell you a sad story. They'll tell you how they're orphaned from their families and how no one gave them an opportunity. And this is the same story that they carry through their whole lives. Shapeshifters carry the same story of abandonment without showing proof for all of their lives, or a story of never getting an opportunity. What they play is victimhood, or they play rescuer so that they don't have to deal with their own issues. Shapeshifters' issues come from the place of origin. So Lucifer's issues start with God. Shapeshifters start with their family of origin. Look at their family of origin, the people that gave them birth, and the home environment that they grew up in between 0 and 12, and you'll know the type of energy you're dealing with. Shapeshifters don't have love. They have missions. They have missions because they have ideas that are fragmented. They have energy that is fragmented. They'll pretend to be whatever you need. They're not friends of Christ. They're not friends of Buddha. They're not friend of any sage of light. They're not friends. The energy of a friendship means to be given and to seek harmony and the greater potential of the other person. No shapeshifter is trying to stay in harmony because they're already in disharmony, and they're not trying to give to you being empowered and reaching your highest potential. They do not represent the force of light. Let's recap the story. Mary met John. John is a widow and homebound. John is lonely, and Mary is a member of the volunteer services. John doesn't know anything about Mary's family of origin. John doesn't know anything about Mary's circumstances. Mary's low on money. Her family of origin is low on money. And while volunteering, you know what she finds out? John is a lonely, rich widow. Mary begins to tap into John's desire to have companionship. John deeply desires companionship. Companionship usually is about finding a soul friend. But Mary already has a boyfriend. John doesn't know this. Mary might not tell him. Mary sees an opportunity to gain access to John's trust and John's finances. She's not going to tell John that either, because shapeshifters do not reveal their intentions. John will not suspect this is Mary's motive, because she came in the name of love. She came in the name of goodness, an idea that she presented as a volunteer. But she had a different motive. Mary spends many days with John. She listens attentively, and eventually John believes she's a good companion and a friend. He invites her to know about his finances. He invites her to know about his dreams. The fake friendship continues, but John thinks that it is real. He falls in attraction to the energy that she's offering. That energy is trust, friendship, and stability, which means she demonstrates trust. She demonstrates trustworthiness by listening. She demonstrated friendship by being there to listen. She demonstrated stability by being consistent. But was it real? Again, shapeshifters work with illusions. These things are love, trust, friendship, and stability. And shapeshifters also learned that. Lucifer also learned that. God is humanity's friend. God invites trust. God provides stability. Whatever you call God. If you study most world religions, you'll find that those three things fall in line with God: trust, friendship, and stability. So these are the qualities of love. John is assuming this is the real deal. He proposes, he marries Mary. What's happened? Mary provided John an idea of security and that he is desirable. We're not here to talk about whether John is desirable or not, because that's not the point. It's about Mary's character. Mary knew how to act. She knew how to perform. She put on a show for the public and a show for John. Mary provided an idea to John that he had security in her and that he is desirable. Now she has access to what she wanted, which was his bank account. She wanted a certain financial stability and she got it. Her personality begins to show itself. Her temperament changes. John may think she suddenly changed. Maybe she's having a mental health disorder. No. Mary is a shapeshifter. She can control which energies come out at what time. She knows how to play the game, and she learned this game at a very early age. Now her soul begins to show itself. Chaos, the spirit of instability, seeps out of Mary at this point, and John thinks he can manage chaos. She starts to become passive-aggressive. She starts to become aggressive. She starts to become manipulative, leaving John feeling confused and scared. John begins to ask what he did wrong. But the truth is, John may not have done anything wrong. People's souls begin to show themselves. Usually after the age of 23, 24, the things that they have suppressed slowly start to come to the surface. The intentions begin to show because the mind is already formed, and so are the core life experiences. They're formed. The person's personality is very real by the age of 23, 24-ish. John feels scared. He feels attacked in all the kindness he provides her. John is now losing his sense of trust, his security, and being. He doesn't consider himself beautiful because this woman's words are like venom. Every encounter with Mary becomes an encounter with spiritual sickness because chaos is spiritual sickness, and that is all that Mary brought. It's hostile words, it's accusations, it's warfare. John is all of a sudden not considered good enough. He's considered poor. He's considered a bad husband, a failure, or unworthy of her time. Mary is chaos. Chaos is a real force. We call that force the force of instability. What Mary really wants now is separation and entitlement to his money. What that means is she doesn't really want separation. So how can you want separation and non-separation? Mary wants separation to go to a bigger power source. But she doesn't want separation because her goal is to drain John of his life force. That is how the energies work. They give life force or they take life force. John is experiencing chaos. Chaos is an energy. This chaos now uproots the mind and it uproots the heart's trust, leaving John himself fragmented. His heart is struggling to trust people. His mind is struggling to believe in himself. Chaos severs the connection from community. It pulls them away from the people that actually love them. John is pulled away from his community that he was struggling with, but he was at peace with. Mary This woman is the lifestyle of a shapeshifter. Men come in the shapeshifters also, but right now we should focus on Mary because these women are very real. The shapeshifter never intended or intends to provide stability. Their force is the shadow force. Not all shapeshifters are shadow forces. It's very rare, though, to find a shapeshifter that is not a shadow force. The shadow force is always about finding your desire. The right term is shadow force. It is not darkness, because the shadow force can come in the appearance of light. Remember, this is empirical evidence. I don't speak from speculation. The shadow force can come in any color. It can come in the form of light. It can come in the form of darkness. It can come in cloaks. It can come in the form of an animal. The shadow force is an energy, and the energy is always about finding power sources of goodness. Goodness means people who invest in people to grow and drain in those forces. Shadow forces, shapeshifters, they're always about finding your desire. Your desire, while unconscious to you, is something that they can sense by listening to you and plugging into your pain. Shadow forces tap into pain. They promise the fulfillment of quenching that pain. What is it that you most desire? Stay tuned.